Hello everyone. So this is the part 2 of the series of videos that I'm making. This one is catering towards cardiovascular and interval training aspects of exercise. A couple of things before I go further. One, that it is if you are using a treadmill or if you're running, it's a high impact activity, and it has if you have any issues with the knees, you need to look for alternatives, for example swimming, rowing, and things with low impact on your joints. Secondly, if you are not used to running for 5-10 minutes, then have a progressive approach towards exercise. You need to build up your fitness level to be able to do more strenuous activities. So always warm up, always start slow. Maybe if you are not used to it at all, you could start with brisk walking and then get into jogging and increasing the duration. So the whole point is your fitness level needs to be with the type of activity that you're doing, and don't just jump into it and to prevent any injuries. So let's just talk about the benefits of cardiovascular exercises. They are basically they help you to improve your heart function, great for your blood vessels. It caters to your cardiovascular system, great for stress reduction, great for losing weight. But there is one caveat here, and that is if you are not taking, your caloric intake is not sufficient and you are just doing cardio exercises, you do lose fat, but apart from that you end up losing muscle mass as well. So which becomes an issue in the sense that once you lose your muscle mass, your metabolism slows down. So that you need to keep that in mind, and that's why I'll talk about interval training and how you could compensate for that. Some of the examples of cardio exercises are swimming, running, dancing, skiing. These are all cardio exercises, are also called aerobic exercises, which means using oxygen. So that's the type of exercise that I'm referring to in this particular video. Now, if we talk about how to incorporate cardio in a program, again, 150 minutes of moderate physical activity is what's recommended in order to gain benefits, in order to look and feel great. You need to go beyond that, and you need to be able to build your fitness level and incorporate resistance training, cardiovascular exercises, and a variety of exercises. So and all this could be done in very easily. You don't necessarily need to have too much variety. Whatever works best for you is what I suggest you do. And keep in mind, as long as you're keeping yourself active and your exercise program is catering both towards aerobic and anaerobic or cardio and interval or resistance training components into your overall program, you will have equal benefits. So I'll just talk about one of the ways that you could design a program. As far as cardio is concerned, you could do a day or two of cardio, run on a treadmill at moderate pace, if you can reach a level of 20 to 30 minutes, that's great. It all depends on the intensity that you do it at. I'm talking about running on a treadmill at a speed of 6 for 30 minutes. That's a really good workout. So again, going back to the training program that I use, I do a day of cardio, which is 30 minutes of moderate pace running on a treadmill or outside, but in the last 5 minutes I do 4 sprints. So one of the days I just do that. In terms of the sprints that I do at the end, let's say if I'm doing it for 30 minutes, then I would go at a moderate pace for 25 minutes, and in the last 5 minutes I will increase the speed to 8, then 8.5, then 9, 9.5, and so on. I'll do 4 or sometimes 5 sprints like this. So I do that because I feel that this is a great way to incorporate interval training aspect into my cardio program. And why is that important? So you need to keep in mind, if you're only using cardio exercises as the form of exercise that you do, then there is an issue with that, and that is if your caloric intake is not sufficient and you're only running or doing cardio, you end up losing muscle mass along with fat, and your metabolism slows down. So to compensate for that, you need to incorporate either resistance training or interval training if you don't want to get into using weights or resistance tubes or things like that, or exercise machines. Then you could only do that using interval training and cardio together. And when I say interval training, another name for that is high impact interval training, or HIIT. It's also called anaerobic form of exercise. Cardio, for example, running is an aerobic exercise. Running, swimming, dancing, skiing, these are all aerobic exercises, whereas heavy weight training, resistance training, interval training, these are forms of anaerobic or without oxygen, using oxygen type of exercises. And the benefit of doing interval training or resistance training is that you gain muscle. So that's a major benefit of using of doing anaerobic form of exercise or interval training. So as I mentioned, I incorporate last 5 minutes. I add interval training in my 30 minutes run, and the benefit of doing that is that you are gaining lean muscle along with losing fat. So you kind of get best of both worlds there. One of the days I just do interval training. And the rationale behind interval training, and for most of the people who are very busy and they just not have enough time for exercise, it's a great way to kind of get the maximum benefit in the minimum time. So you could have a 20 to 30 minutes of workout, which is as good as any intense workout at a moderate pace. So when I am doing one of the ways that I do interval training is I would step on a treadmill, I'll go 10 minutes of a slow walk, 10 minutes of a walk just to kind of lubricate my joints and prepare my body for strenuous activity. Then I would run at a moderate pace for 3 to 5 minutes, and once I've done that, then I'm able to then I do 6 sprints, and each sprint is 15 seconds in duration, and I have 30 seconds of rest in between. And by rest I means I go back to my normal pace of 6 on a treadmill, for example. So let's say you start running at a speed of 6, then I go 8.4, I increase the speed to 8.4, I go back to 6 for 30 seconds, then I go another sprint 15 seconds for 8.6, then I again go back to 6, and then I go 8.6. So I increase by increments of 2. So if I start from 8.4 and go up to 9.2, my last sprint would be 9.2. In between I have a 30 seconds of a moderate pace break in between those sprints. So let's say if the total time that I spend doing all this is 25 to 30 minutes, but this is a great workout. This is as good as jogging at a moderate pace for 40-50 minutes. In these 20 to 30 minutes, you could reduce that. You could do 5 minutes of walk, 3 minutes of a slow run, and go do 6 sprints. Again, it's a high impact interval training, and your fitness level needs to be there. So build up. If you are not there, once you build it up and you are doing a high impact interval training, you could really be done with your exercise in 20 to 30 minutes easily in a day, and that would be as effective as any intense workout. Another thing I really like about using a treadmill is the fact that you could do exercise while watching your favorite programs. So I love watching movies or TV shows. So I go on my treadmill, and I don't even feel that I'm exercising, because you're focusing on the programs that you're watching, and at the same time you're being active and you get your exercise done. So that's a fantastic benefit. Another benefit of doing high impact interval training is if you play sports. So for example, I play sports, and one of the best definition of exercise that I have come across is that exercise is a controlled dose of stress. So if you are playing any sports, exercise which is controlled might not help, because why you say that exercise is a controlled dose of stress, because you have a good control over the duration, the intensity, the time. So it's a safe way to put your body under stress. When you play any sport, then the intensity depends on the situation of the game, or so you need to go very high intensity at times and then scale back. When you do high impact interval training, it prepares you for that type of activity. So that's another added benefit to high impact interval training. The examples of high impact interval training or interval training is you could convert a number of exercises into high impact interval training. Rowing, for example, you could incorporate the concept of intervals in rowing, going at a higher pace, increasing the resistance, and then taking breaks in between and going at a moderate pace. You could do swimming in the same manner. So the point is to do high exertion and then give yourself a break and then go back to high exertion. So that's, in this way you could incorporate interval training into a number of exercises. So to sum up, when you talk about a program of 5 to 6 days of exercise, doing cardio for 1 or 2 days at moderate pace, and then doing in between high impact interval training, or converting your cardio, the moderate pace, and at the end adding the interval training component into it, would give you great benefit, and that is that you would not only lose weight, but your muscle definition will improve, and you will gain lean muscle mass. And to understand this, if you look at the physiques of sprinters as compared to marathon runners or long distance runners, you would easily understand what I mean by that. So that's all regarding the cardio and high impact interval training for today. I will talk about rowing in my next video. Until then, thank you very much and have a great day. Bye.